Hello, it's your Texas Grandma. I have a new book, The Biggest Christmas Tree Ever. Ever. Do you ever have a big Christmas tree? I did. This book has stickers. This book is by Stephen Kroll. Once there were two mice who fell in love with the same Christmas tree. But you had to see it to believe it. Everyone in Mouseville loved Christmas trees. Every Christmas, families all over town put up the biggest, most beautiful tree that they could find. But first came Thanksgiving. The day before the celebration, Clayton, the house mouse, took a walk around Mouseville. He knew he should be thinking about giving thanks, but the chill in the air reminded him of Christmas. You know what? He said out loud. This year I'm going to find the biggest tree ever. Not far away, Clayton's friend Desmond, the field mouse, said exactly the same thing. That night, Clayton helped his mom and dad, his brother, Andy, and his sister, Trudy, make a special cheese casserole and a nut pie for Thanksgiving dinner. Over at Desmond's house, Desmond and his brother Morris helped Uncle Vernon fix a big pot of vegetable stew and a cheesecake. I guess mice eat cheesecake and cheese casserole. Everyone ate too much. After dinner, Clayton's grandma and grandpa sat in the living room, holding their tummies and grumbling. Oh. Over at Desmond's house, the cousins from across the road stretched out on Uncle Vernon's sofa and took a nap. I like naps. The following morning, Clayton woke up early. He jumped out of bed. He wanted to be the first one at Clara's Christmas tree farm at the edge of town. That way he could have his pick of the biggest trees. Over at Desmond's house, Desmond tumbled out of bed with the same thought. So Clayton, he hurried over to Clara's, but it was hard to go very fast. He was still too full from Thanksgiving dinner. By the time he reached the Christmas tree farm, he was out of breath. He looked around. No one else was there. Moments later, Desmond arrived. He was too full of Thanksgiving dinner. He too was having a hard time, found it hard to hurry. He took a deep breath and he stumbled inside. Clayton wobbled down the row of trees. Here was a nice one, but it was much too small. There was another, but it was squat, and it had a crooked top. Over there was a third, but it was only average height and had big gaps between the branches. Struggling down another row, Desmond was having the same problem. He looks a little tired. Clayton leaned against a tree. It was a scrawny and not very tall. I'll never find the tree I want, he said. I better go home. And not far away, squinting at another tree, Desmond said, I'll never find the tree I want. I'd better go home. They're giving up. When Clayton reached his house, it was only the middle of the morning. But he was still full and he was tired. He fell back into bed. When Desmond reached his house, he too went back to bed. They're back in bed. In the morning, Clayton woke up for lunch and he spoke to his dad. Dad said, go out this afternoon, walk to the far edge of the Christmas tree farm. The biggest trees are there. When Desmond woke up for lunch, his Uncle Vernon told him the same thing. was Uncle Vernon. That afternoon, Clayton went out again. At the very same time, Desmond did too. Clayton walked to the far edge of the big Christmas tree farm. He looked at one big tree after another, but none of them looked like the biggest Christmas tree ever. Down another path, Desmond was having the same bad luck. Still hunting for trees. Starting to lose hope, Clayton peered around a very thick trunk. Desmond peered around the same thick trunk. They bumped heads and fell down. I bet you're looking for the biggest Christmas tree ever, said Clayton. I bet you're looking for the biggest Christmas tree ever, said Desmond. Why don't we find it together, said Clayton. No one said we couldn't, said Desmond. Got a plan. Sometimes you need help. They set out through the row of trees, and they looked until it was almost dark. Just as they were ready to give up, there it was, a Christmas tree so big and so tall that it reached the sky. Wow, it's a lot bigger than the others. How will we cut it down? Clayton asked. It's much too big for the two of us. Where will we put it? Desmond asked. It won't fit in your house or mine. Clayton and Desmond smiled. Our families will help us, they said together. And that is what happened. Clayton's dad and Uncle Vernon came out with their axes, and with the help of Clayton and Desmond, they chopped down the giant tree. Here they come with their tools. Families help each other. Both families called on friends and relations, and together they loaded the tree onto 100 red wagons. Wow. And pulled it to Clayton's front yard. There they decorated it with the most wondrous ornaments and colored lights. Wow, that's a lot of mice. Pulling a big tree on 100 wagons. And on Christmas Eve, with all of Mouseville celebrating around it, the biggest Christmas tree ever lit up the entire hillside. Clayton and Desmond shared a high five. We did it, said Clayton. All of us together, said Desmond. And that's the end.